It started on the night because I'd just been watching a film, a period drama, and what I really liked about that film is that someone could have called it a slow movie because it was moving quite slowly. But the reason why it worked is because there were a lot of sort of pregnant pauses in it. You know, the kind of pauses where so much is happening with the character and you can see it happening, and I was really intrigued by that. Anyway, I fell asleep and I woke up at about 3 in the morning and I suddenly had this whole film in my head. I thought, quick, I must write it down, otherwise I'll lose it. So I grabbed my laptop and I started typing everything down really quickly. And then the next morning, based on what I typed down in the night, I then made scene content. So I went like, okay, what happened in scene 1? They arrive. Scene 2, finding the manuscript. Okay, what would happen then? Scene 3, we're going into flashback and we're going to see what's happening. So it kind of just happened in about 4 or 5 hours. The whole thing was kind of set. And then I left it for a while. And then about a year later I thought, I should do something with this because it's something that could really work out, and it's probably quite fun as well for a director to work with actors in a way that they are putting in a lot, because I have the scene contents, now they are going to give me some dialogue. So I did casted the characters and we started meeting up in Brighton in it's like a community hall that I hired, and I was so incredibly surprised when the first meeting happened and I said, okay, this is scene 1, go ahead and this is what happens, this is where you are, go ahead and play. And funny enough, it was just from the first moment it was amazing. You know, they really straight away went in there, and it was very funny. I didn't know it was going to be that funny, but the characters just actually made it very funny. Not trying to be funny, but just the ridiculousness of the situation just made it really funny, and awkward dialogue between people and awkward situations, and so I realised then this could be a winner. So that's how it started.
Right.
And then the idea was to do a theatre play of it, and to have all the exterior scenes filmed and then projected onto the background. That was the initial idea. And about two months in, or 2.5 months in rehearsing, I suddenly said, everyone, can we just pause for a minute and sit down together? And there was just this moment of silence, and I said, you know what? I think this should be a film. I don't know why, I just think this should be a film. And then one of the actresses said, yes, it just cries out for film, doesn't it? I just, yes, we can't, it just doesn't do it justice if we just do it on stage, because we have to, you know, maneuver a lot of things around, going from location to location. It's going to be really difficult. So I just thought, okay, money, sponsors, locations, and from that moment onwards, I've just been full-time, flat out, pre-producing the film, and it just step by step started to come together and started to attract the people we needed. Because I thought, I can't direct and produce, I need to have a good producer on it. So then Madelon came in, you know, then other people, you know, slowly started coming in, locations started coming in, and the story was being worked on to really make it work for film, you know, change it into the language. And then slowly on, all the puzzle pieces just came together and we started filming.
So what's the motivation? Why are you doing this?
The motivation, why am I doing this? Well, ideally, well, not ideally, my idea is just to make films that I would call stories for the soul. Now, the Scandalous Four doesn't completely fit in there, because it's slightly different from what I would usually do. I'd probably work more with the spiritual realms in things that I do. Like the short film Ella's Dream is very much that kind of sort of spiritual film. As the Scandalous Four is very earthy, really, and it's very much about the old English ways and very kind of stuck, you know. And the thing that does work, though, with this film is that the characters are going on a journey which kind of forces them out of their parameters, sorry, language. You know, so they are going on sort of a spiritual journey. They're growing a lot, and they're learning to accept, you know, homosexuality, learning to accept having affairs outside of marriage. So there's a major journey in it, really, also spiritually. So I think if you ask me what's the motivation, I think the motivation really is fun, because it's a fun film to make, and it's a fun film for actors to do. There's so much scope for them to develop their character, to play around with it, and
so why? How is it set in the 1800s? Why isn't it a contemporary film?
I think because right now it's not shocking anymore to be gay or to have an affair outside of marriage, whereas at that time you'd be hung if you were gay. So I just thought, okay, I quite like this constraint, this period where people couldn't communicate. Because I mean, I'm from Holland, I'm brought up to really say whatever I want, whenever I want, and be totally honest. And I thought, what is it like if you're living in a time where you can't say it, and you're like, you're bursting out, you know, wanting to express yourself, give expression to your spirit. And I think that really shows well in an English, you know, period drama. You know, it's just like everything is happening inside, and that's a great motivation for me to do, you know, to do something that I'm not.
Sure.